Morning. Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic, how artificial intelligence has impacted the job search. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. With me today, back again, is the world-renowned recruiter, Jammin' Jim Warner. Jim?
Hey guys, how are you?
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Caffeinate Your Career. I'm going to check and see if we are live. And here we go. We are in fact live.
Excellent.
And I can hear us. So
excellent.
Everything is working the way it's supposed to. All right. You know, it's so funny, Jim, because AI has gotten a lot of attention lately, especially within the past year, and especially in like what I do in job search.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of crazy about the whole thing is like AI is not new,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's been around since like 1950, right?
Right.
But it's getting a lot more attention lately,
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to job search. So we're going to break this down into a couple of different parts. We'll talk about the applicant tracking system and also too like how the recruiting process has changed for both the employers and for job seekers. And we're going to start that with automating the recruiting process. Most likely what? The applicant tracking system.
Right. So we had the ability as recruiters to be able to put filters into our applicant tracking system to determine who we are going to identify as potential for employers looking to hire. It was very, very successful for us in using that. However, it did knock out candidates that may not have added keywords that we would have identified if they had it on their resume. So keywords is critical with these ATS systems in order to be identified as a potential candidate.
Right, because as the recruiter, you're going to go in and you're going to search, usually on a Boolean search, which would be like accountant and Excel,
Right.
or even like admin, not Excel, I guess.
Absolutely. Education is another component of that.
Yes.
Because a number of many clients only want to hire college graduates. There are always those exceptions, but when we go through our screening process, it's all of those keywords we're looking for.
Correct. And so when the job seeker is trying to craft their resume, they're applying to jobs, what is the best way to get through the applicant tracking system?
Well, from a candidate standpoint, trying to identify what the client or what the ad is expressing interest. So those keywords that match the job description are what you need to do, and if you want to be picked as a possible candidate for a job.
Okay. And so I think it's also it's important to obviously view the job description.
Absolutely. First,
identify those keywords.
Yep.
Make sure that you have those specific keywords,
yes.
And then tailor your resume to the actual job posting.
Absolutely. Yep.
It is the thing that gets you, well, noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jim, what about chatbots? Have you seen this?
I have seen chatbots for initial interviews. Clients are now trying to streamline their process so they don't have to, kiss a lot of toads to find the prince,
right,
or princess. They have become more prevalent and something that you got to get used to in this world now of trying to identify a new opportunity.
Yeah, they come up. It's a good, I think, qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just kind of like the ATS, it ranks.
Right.
However,
I would disagree with you as a good qualifier. I can't stand chatbots. I think that missing link is that human touch or that ability, if you fall just a little bit outside of the criteria that you may be identified, and you might be missed by chatbots.
Yeah, but you could also get missed by the ATS.
You could.
I mean, nothing, I think, overall is one of those things that's going to be perfect. But I think in qualifying, I think you're right. No, I absolutely 100% think that you're correct. You need that human interaction or it's a lot better. But as a pre-qualifier, when job postings are getting 100, 200, even more people applying to them, getting those, getting a chatbot in there to help screen out those people.
I understand the purpose. I just don't know that it's really the most ideal for the candidate looking for jobs.
Do you like chatbots on just in general?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I like to either interact with a live agent if it's online, or have a conversation.
I like if I see them on websites, I usually just kind of close them out because I can usually find what I need on the website without it.
Right.
In fact, I usually just don't use them.
No, I don't either. If I can avoid it, I'm asking for a live agent every time.
Let's talk about AI matching, or we're using it to have improved matches, like LinkedIn and Indeed. Some of these sites and matching up qualified candidates can help the recruiter come up with better search results.
That's what LinkedIn and Indeed seems to try to sell us and as recruiters or as companies. I don't think they do a very good job of it. I still don't think they do a very, very good job of it.
I heard just like yesterday on the radio, an ad for Indeed, and it said in the ad, we will match qualified candidates for you.
And we will deliver them in an hour.
Yeah.
And, that's just so far from the truth. But we have to deal with what's happening today. And so that's the reason why we're having this conversation. It's trying to find ways for you to beat the system, to be the standout. And Jason does a good job with that in what he calls currently mock interviewing. What is that, Jason?
That is when we have a practice interview and answer questions or ask questions to potential job seekers in real time.
What's the benefit to the candidate?
Practice. I think like the biggest misstep I see with job hunters is they do not put in enough practice in the interview. Their answers are too long, or their stories are not constructed very well. Right? And so when we do practice interviewing, we work with job seekers to help them keep their stories tight, to make sure that they know how to ask specific questions, how to close the interview correctly. Right? And you know what, Jim? We actually do have a practice interview program here at Jewish Family Service.
Oh, you do?
I do. You're actually a part of it.
I am.
You are.
Wow.
We're going to do practice interviews next month, guys, starting every week. We're going to do it every week this next month. If you're interested in doing a practice interview, they are virtual, so you can participate anywhere in the world. Email me. My email is the letter J, Hopper, HOPPER, at jfsdallas.org. Put practice interview in the subject line, and I'll make sure to get you scheduled. And or if there are too many people, you'll be on the wait list. So
I sort of equate the practice skills that you learn under these mock interviews and the practice that you have prior to getting in front of a live employer or recruiter as something similar to an actor who rehearses and rehearses and rehearses and then gets on stage up on the stage and delivers a eloquent performance. He doesn't just deliver the eloquent performance. It's the rehearsal, it's the practice that they have to do prior to delivering the message on stage or on screen.
Yeah, you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You can't just show up and try to wing it. That's not going to work.
It's not.
I think that you can also use AI to determine what types of skills are needed for a specific job.
Without a doubt.
You could just ask it or query it, what skills are needed to become a project manager? And it will list them out for you. And from there, you get to highlight those skills and abilities and things that you are able to do.
Well, so you didn't talk about the platform that you were using to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us have access to AI websites like ChatGPT. It gives you a wealth of information. You don't have to pay for it. It's there. It's useful, and that would be one of the sites I would recommend.
Have you tried Bard?
I have tried Bard. Yes.
I like it okay. I like ChatGPT better. When I do query things, sometimes I don't ask it quite the right question, and I have to go back to do it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think is helpful, and that we've started doing in the practice interview program, is having it list out interview questions for, say, customer service. That way you then, as the interviewer, will tailor the actual practice interview, the mock interview, to that job seeker. Right? And that's something that, anybody can do. You just get in there and ask it, list interview questions for a CEO.
Right.
And it will list out questions, and then you can practice working on answering those questions and building your stories around those particular questions.
Absolutely. And there's another platform that I learned about. It's been around a long time. It's called HireVue. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know about HireVue?
Not a lot.
Okay, well, HireVue is a website that actually helps you, again, like we do with mock interviews. HireVue is an automated process that helps you with interviewing skills.
Okay. So it just asks the questions?
Yes, ask the questions.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that we talk about LinkedIn and the algorithm and how that actually works.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I suggest for LinkedIn is to go to the company's homepage and make sure that you're following them. Also, go and scroll down about halfway and you see the tabs, right? Click the About tab.
Yeah.
Scroll down halfway and look to see if they have the I'm interested box. There's a box that says, want to work for our company but don't see any matches. Click I'm interested and you'll be expressed as having, shown interest in working with the company. So you click the box, the button for the box, and it shares your profile with the recruiter. Now, some companies have opted out of this and turned it off. It's a feature you can turn on and off. But it's pretty good as far as when the recruiters get into the recruiter portal on LinkedIn and they start searching. If you've got that box clicked, you're more likely to come up in the top of a search than somebody that has not. The other way to get to the top of searches in the recruiter portal on LinkedIn is to make sure that you're connected to somebody, right? Are you connected to somebody or multiple people within the company? The other part of that is too, and this is really why, guys, if you're a job seeker, you should be on LinkedIn and you should be active. LinkedIn rewards people that are active members in their community and in their online community. When I mean active, I mean, are you posting content? Are you liking, tagging, and commenting on other people's content? We call that engaging. Are you engaging in other people's content on LinkedIn? If so, you, again, will more likely be able to come up to the top of a search when recruiters are searching for specific roles on LinkedIn. And I think the last statistic I saw said that like 97% of recruiters are on LinkedIn searching for candidates.
Yeah.
That's like almost every recruiter out there is on LinkedIn looking for people.
And as a recruiter, we were hoping above all hopes that there would be a competitor to LinkedIn. None has yet materialized.
No, not as good as LinkedIn.
No.
I mean, it is still like the go-to for job search, for sure. And it's also good for building brand.
Without a doubt. I believe in building brand.
I think for sure it's the thing that can get you noticed. I talk to clients all the time about getting some of that personalized stuff in there, but also too making sure that their brand is consistent. I think when we do job search stuff, the important thing is to be different than anybody else, to do the opposite of what everybody's doing, to set you apart and be different as a job seeker.
I'm a prime example of that. Look at this shirt.
Look at that shirt. Jim is, and that, but you know what? That is part of your brand.
That's right.
It's like crazy, colorful, loud shirt. I wear blue most of the time when we're doing video stuff because blue translates well on video. And I know that, and that's why I'm wearing a blue shirt today.
Well, it looks good on you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I did forget to take off my badge, which is kind of weird on camera, but that's all right. Jim, one of the other problems with AI is bias. And the reason is because it's only as good, AI is, it's only as good as the information that's put into it. So the algorithm itself could be biased and skip out on other people. You mentioned education a minute ago, right?
Yes.
Like, because if it's looking specifically for, as we check off the boxes or we set the parameters on the ATS of what we're looking for the job, if that's not in a resume or highlighted in the application, it's not going to come. The person's not going to come up in the search. And so it is like, I guess, one of those things that is not a perfect system, but one that we kind of have to work with.
Right. But however, what we've identified is that some of these AI systems are designed not to discriminate and are only looking for keywords for qualifications and skills rather than age, gender, religion, or other things that could be discriminatory.
Well, that comes with making sure that your resume is written so that it is applicant tracking system compliant.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, the ATS, like that software, that business is a huge business. The last person that I had bothered to look it up said there's over 285 versions of ATS software, right? So almost a lot of the companies are going to use it, and now you want to make sure that your resume is going to fit, because you know what all ATS has in common?
Tell me.
They all do not read tables.
Right.
All of them.
Okay.
So if you're going out on Indeed or Career Builder, or your friend Frank says this is the best template, because templates are all in boxes, you just plug and play, it's not going to be ATS compliant.
Right. And
it's not going to come up. There's like not too long ago, there was a style of resume, and it was like it was all colorful, which is great, and it had skills running down the side, and it had graphics on it. The ATS does not know what to do with that. It does not read pictures.
Exactly.
It can read PDFs. That comes up a lot. It will read a Word doc better than a PDF, but it can read a PDF. That's fine. But if your resume is in a template, it's not going to work.
You're right.
You know, and so in working on just like that and reducing bias, you need to make sure that the you have the right tool going into it and applying for jobs.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to, guys, if you're curious of what it is the ATS sees on your resume, copy and paste your resume and put it into Notepad. Right?
Yeah.
Because Notepad, and most of you guys have it, whether you know it or not, on your computer. All Notepad does is read text. And so if you copy and paste it into Notepad, you will see what it is the ATS is actually reading. Virtual assistants. Those AI tools can help optimize your resume, work on, you mentioned HireVue, right? We didn't talk about JobScan. JobScan, if how it works is you copy and paste your resume into one box, you copy and paste the job description in the other box, you hit the button, and it compares the two and then suggests changes that you can make to get you past the ATS.
And by the way, just go back a second. HireVue is spelled HireVue.
Yes.
Okay.
You should know that even though you can get it matched up to 100%, it's still not going to guarantee that a human is going to see it. And the reason is because of the human. Like as the recruiter, if I go in there and type in a different search string for what I'm looking for, or I get into the ATS system and I filter it down to where it's only going to bring up, I don't know, 5 to 10 people because I've thrown so many filters on it, then it's still not going to come up in the search.
Right.
And I had that comes up quite a bit. Clients be like, I had it matched 100%. Nobody called me. I'm like, you forgot the human.
Right. But how do you overcome that, Jason? How do you overcome that? 5 to 7 resumes, and yours is the 8th or 9th. How do you become visible?
Well, I think there's a few ways that you can become visible. I think that LinkedIn is good for that and posting content. You could also get connected to recruiters. I just read a whole article the other day about why it's a good idea to connect to recruiters at target companies. When you were in staffing, did you like when job seekers were trying to connect to you on LinkedIn?
Yes and no.
Yeah, explain.
90% of the people that are applying for these jobs are not qualified. And so, 90% of the time, those are the people who try to contact us through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Those who we really wanted were elusive. They were currently working. They were happy at their job. And those were the candidates we were after. So we were really trying to find exactly what our client, who was paying us large dollars, was looking for.
Yeah. Well, I think it definitely makes a difference, right? In trying to find those candidates,
those elusive candidates.
Yeah. I think. Well, I think that's correct. I have a recruiter friend who, if you're not working, he's not interested.
Well, yeah.
Right? Like he only wants those people that are interested. I think it's harder to get connected to recruiters because they're the recruiter and everybody and their mama is trying to get connected to them.
Yeah.
My best suggestion would be to, try and engage in their content. Most recruiters will post their jobs on LinkedIn. It's free to do it, and it goes to everybody in their network.
Actually, it's not free to do it. You're talking about the job seeker or the client?
I was talking about an employer.
Employer is not free
It's
to post on LinkedIn.
They can post on their personal page.
Right.
Hey, I'm looking for an admin. That's what I'm talking about. No. Yes. If you want the portal, that's an add-on feature that does cost.
That's
yes.
huge money.
Yes. That's one of the reasons. Besides ads, how they make money.
Yeah.
But if the recruiter on their personal page profile posts that they're looking for an admin assistant,
yeah,
and you might know one, you could always comment and tag the person that you might be helping. I mean, when I was in staffing, I loved getting referrals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, referrals were beautiful. We paid for referrals, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to get in. You're talking about being visible, like getting around the applicant track. And this is one of the things that I work with clients on, is to work on getting connected, not to the recruiter so much as the somebody in the department where you're trying to break into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get the human, build in a champion at a company where you want to work.
Right.
And that way, when the jobs come up and they pop up and they're available, call Jim. I just talked to him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now you've completely bypassed that process. That's how you do that. You put the human back into it.
Absolutely. That's why, the AI screening tools are very, very tough for candidates. Matter of fact, they're tough for the recruiter too. Because the resume wasn't written right, because the keyword was not put in the right place, we missed you. And it's really unfortunate, but you guys need to work with us.
I think that's right, is that the ATS systems will weed out candidates that are super qualified, but they don't have the right keywords.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of the reasons why it's important to tailor the actual job to the resume to the actual job. I'm sorry, I did that in reverse. I've had a lot of coffee. It's Caffeinate Your Career Coach Day today, right?
Yes.
AI can also be helpful when you are changing jobs. If you're going to be pivoting into something else, you can, in fact, look at different skills that you're going to need to learn for that job.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them is going to be different. And I work with a lot of clients who are looking to pivot and get into something else, but aren't really even sure where to start.
Right.
Go ask ChatGPT, right? I mean, if that's it, even if that is the query, how to get started in customer service positions.
Well, but there's another way. The candidate can make an appointment with a company manager as a way of asking questions, not for a job, but asking questions and hearing from that potential employer what they may be looking for in a candidate.
Like, you mean informational interview? Yeah, I'm big on informational interviews. I tend to tell clients to, because if if you're getting in with a hiring manager, yes, right? If you're just trying to get connected to somebody that is also in training and you're a trainer, you get connected to the trainer at XYZ company.
Yep.
And you say, can you do a 20-minute informational interview? They may be like, I don't do interviews. Right. But if you ask to do virtual coffee, everybody understands what you're saying. Virtual coffee.
I like that.
And then you just set it up for 20 minutes and ask a lot of questions. You make it about them. Mm-hmm. You've said many times with Jim, it's like the person that does the most talking thinks they walk away thinking that they've had a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Because people like talking about themselves.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the more you ask questions of the person, and they'll ask questions for you too, but you just continually ask them questions and learn about what they do in the position.
Yep.
I think what we could get into like data And when we look at, and this is one of the things, like once we start talking to people and asking those questions, especially like, how did you get into this position?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you, and now you start to work on building a map to get you into that same position that particular way. But you could get data points, like what you could ask, what are the projected roles for 2025 for growth?
Mm-hmm.
And it will tell you.
Yeah.
I read an article about a month ago that said that employers, that 34, I don't know why that was stuck out for me, but it was 34% of employers are expecting their job seeker candidates, people coming in, to have some familiarity with AI.
Mm-hmm.
34%. That means like, so for growth, data analytics, artificial intelligence positions, definitely there will be growth in those types of industries, but you should know something about AI.
Absolutely.
Going into it. You know, I think companies are trying to figure out a good balance between AI and having a good human interaction,
Mm-hmm.
because overall you want the candidate experience to be a good one. You don't want, even if the person doesn't get the job, which only one of them will, it's only going to be one person that gets hired unless we're doing a ramp up.
Right.
But you want the people that didn't get the job to walk away thinking, man, I didn't get the job, but I really enjoyed talking with them about the position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that getting into or getting that personal interaction is something that will often be make the difference in how the company itself performs and has street cred.
Well, without a doubt. I think there's an importance to AI and what it does to help the employer identify new candidates, but that human touch, we can't get away from that. I think it's vital as well, Jason.
So we have learned that there are several different tools that we can use for AI, and hopefully get into navigating the system a little bit better. Jim, any final thoughts about artificial intelligence in job search?
Oh gosh, I would say that all of the points that we covered are valid. I think that one of the highlights that Jason mentioned was that your keywords within your resume, they have to be specific to the job that you're looking for, and if you don't do that, you won't be one of those selected.
Yeah, it's, I think, super important to understand like what tools that recruiters are using and or not using. Like I read a lot of articles about job search, right?
Yeah.
It's what I do. And I read an article. It's like, employers are working on looking at resumes that are strictly written by AI, and they don't like it.
No.
Right. And will often use it as an indicator to, further disqualify candidates.
Yeah.
And I've seen some resumes that were written by ChatGPT that were straight up fine, and then I've seen some that generated a catastrophe. And it just kind of depends.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why you can't ask ChatGPT or any other online AI website to help you put bullet points together so that you can create your own resume. It is so easy to identify whether or not it's ChatGPT writing it or you. And you need to be the one that writes it in the end.
Yeah, for sure. And did you know you could train it to write in your voice?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I read an article, this is about a year ago, what you take your writing samples and you upload them into ChatGPT and you tell it, don't do anything with it, and then you have it analyze the what you wrote, and then you have it go and write, create a document using my voice, and then it will write out, your resume or a cover letter or whatever, and sounding like you.
And there's another tool that I'd like to suggest. I use it daily for just writing in general, but it's called Grammarly.
Oh, yeah.
And Grammarly is, I don't know what I did without Grammarly. It's found 19,000 errors I've made over the last 6 months. Putting the comma in the right spot, adjusting the wording, making sure your spelling is correct. Those are things you should use.
We talk about tools and AI, but it's important to know what are the current tools that are being used, right? Like especially it helps show that you are up to date in knowing what's going on. Like if you don't understand or know what Trello is, you need to go figure it out.
And then the other piece is Apple's new 18.1 software update, which is coming to Apple users very shortly. Will have artificial AI, it's Apple Intelligence, sorry about that, Apple Intelligence, which will be something similar to what Grammarly is doing, but it's engaging, and it's something that you all should be looking forward to. It's not out yet.
Well, what drives me crazy, things are just, the technology's moving fast, right? And what drives me crazy is people that are on the road and they're trying to text.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is just say,
Hey
Siri, text Jim Warner.
That's right.
What do you want it to say? And you just say, I will get long form text, and I know, or I'll do that myself, especially if I need to talk to my wife.
Yeah.
I'll just send her a text and do it verbal. Like that voice here, it's not going anywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
So know what tools are out there, know that what employers are using, tailor your resume. Jim, we're pretty much at time, so fun question for the day.
Yes.
Would you rather be able to talk to animals or be able to speak every language in the world?
Whew, that's a tough one. I would say talk to animals, personally. I would love to know what they're thinking, what they're saying. We have 2 dogs, and it would really, really be great to have some understanding as to what they're thinking.
You're wearing a fox shirt, right? You're a fox shirt. I think that's right. I would talk to the animals as well. Especially because and our puppy is pretty smart. He understands when I say cross the street, he will go across the street. But those are just verbal commands that we train.
Yeah.
But I will sometimes say stuff to him. What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
What are you thinking at that point?
What? I want to be able to talk to the animals.
And AI will help you understand every language in the world. So let's talk to the animals.
Yeah, sure. We have a translate on the phone right now. We can translate it, right? All right, Jim, thanks for being here for this week's Caffeinate Your Career. Next week, we will have career coach and HR strategist Sandy Knight will be here, and we will be discussing, I forgot. I've already created the event. I created it like a few weeks ago. Job search stuff. So come back next week. Sandy's awesome, and we'll see you. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye-bye.